watching this tape, I guess I'm dead. Sorry. Billy, you're my best friend in the world. Today, I want you to have my very favorite thing, the Minnesota Twins.
When my grandpa died, all I got was a sweat.
First of all, I'd just like to say this is really cool.
You mean you own the team and the stadium? Can I borrow $5?
I'd like to announce that I've named myself the new manager of the Minnesota Twins.
Go away.
Really, it's not that easy. There's a lot to this game. A lot.
You know how hard it is to manage?
It's the American League. They got the DH. How hard could it be?
I gotta go over all this paperwork.
Wow, you sound like my dad.
Can I have your autograph?
Wow, show the hold of what a babe.
I'm not gonna win anything with a kid for manager.
Now, why don't you go home and build yourself a fort or something?
I know you guys think I'm a joke.
Put me in there, I can throw strikes.
Maybe I'm not the problem. Maybe the problem is you guys forgot how much fun this is. You're major leaguers. Don't you understand? You guys get to play baseball every day. What could be better?
Castle Rock Entertainment is proud to present Little Big League.
Baseball was made for kids. Just go out and play and have fun.
I hate fun.
Well, I guess since I decided to do Dookie of the Year last week, why not do a movie that is similar? Or some people say it's the exact same movie. Let's see if
I think a sports movie.
this is also the final baseball movie of the year. There, now it is on camera. So now it is going to be the last baseball movie of the year.
You mean 2025 or for the next 12 months?
Probably for the next 12 months. I don't think I'm going to do any by the World Series because that didn't really go over well last year. But we'll see. We will see what happens. Courage Under Fire got a surprisingly 66 views on the first day, and I thought that might get 66 views in 3 years. So now I will be breaking down Little Big League right after this.
They're squirmy and wormy and purple and green. The grossest little creatures that you've ever seen.
Creepy crawlers.
Build a monster mold with a colored plastic goop and make a creepy crawler from my yucky monster soup. They're yucky, squirmy, wormy, very scary, sometimes hairy, squiggly, wiggly, creepy crawling.
Creepy crawlers.
Gross out your sister, embarrass your dad. You can be a little creep without being bad.
Creepy Crawlers Workshop with plastic goop.
Well, this is Creepy Crawlers. Comment below if you remember this. I did have one when I was a kid. We had, it wasn't just Creepy Crawlers. They also had Power Rangers mold as well. So you could do different color ones if you wanted to. It was actually a pretty cool thing to have. It was. You just have to take my word on it. So anyway, this was a lot of fun. So speaking of fun, now I am reviewing Little Big League that came out in 1994.
Yay.
Unfortunately, I hate to say it, this movie was actually a bust. This was very expensive to make, and it made about $10 million, if that. It did not last long. We saw this movie in July, and we saw it at the $1.50 movie theaters, and it came out in June. That's not good. So, Little Big League stars Luke Edwards as Billy Haywood.
Oh.
And right away, we're going with who and how would you hear of Luke Edwards? He was in this. He was in a very small part of American Pie 2.
Never seen that movie.
And he does come out every year, I guess, for the Twins to throw out the first pitch at a Minnesota Twins game. So Luke Edwards, not exactly. It's possible, I guess. It might be. I actually did watch this review on Mickey and Judd, and they are Minnesota sports fanatics, so they were breaking this down. So they're the ones that I heard that Luke Edwards does throw out the first pitch at some of the Twins baseball games. So that is actually pretty cool, and they really did use the Metrodome, which was used by the Minnesota Vikings, the Minnesota Golden Gophers, the college team, and also the Minnesota Twins. So three teams.
Hold on, you had a football team and a baseball team in the same thing?
If you look close at some of the clips I'm going to show, you can actually see the hash marks, the lines, and you can also see the numbers on a football field right on the diamond. But yes, teams did share the stadiums at this time. Question? It was a good question. Yes, back then, these were different times. Teams did share stadiums. So, yes, Miami shared with the Florida Marlins, Oakland shared with the Athletics, and I believe it did cause a little bit of a mess because yeah, they're shaped differently. The sand was still on some of the playing fields that had regular grass. And if you look at the clips, you'll probably say, "Oh, Chip, you're full of it." No, I'm really not. If you look at the clips, you can actually see the numbers of. That's because this is on the Little League game. But if you really look at it, you can actually see the stadium at the Metrodome does have. You can see the football field as they're playing baseball. So it is there. So this is the way that things were. Things were a little bit different in the 90s. To me, they're still fun to watch. I do have old football games, so I do watch it from a fan standpoint. I enjoy it, but as a player's standpoint, I'm sure they hated it. Plus, there's also that other good question, what if they play playoff games? That I honestly don't remember. I honestly probably just thought nothing of it and just didn't care. I was like, they'll just work it out themselves. So those are all good questions that I really wish I looked up before I did this video.
Well, you should have said something about that.
I honestly never thought of it until now. But so anyway, so what actor did I leave off on? I think
I named one.
Okay, I named Luke Edwards. The late John Ashton, which I just found out he passed away, sadly, in 2024. He was in the Beverly Hills Cops movies with Eddie Murphy. So Mac.
Was he the partner of Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, well, one of them. He was the older guy. I don't know if you remember. He was the bald guy with the mustache. He was in the first two, and then he was in the new one.
I didn't watch the one.
Yeah, we did.
No, you did. I did not.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, lucky you. So so that we do have John Ashton in this. Timothy Busfield is also in this. He was in The Field of Dreams. He was the girl's brother who was trying to get him to yes. And from reading on him, I guess there was some allegations where he had a minor sexual assault during this movie to a 17-year-old minor. I guess there was a settlement, but I guess maybe not one of the nicer actors in Hollywood. So that I could be wrong though. I don't know for sure. Jonathan Silverman is also in this movie as well. He is one of the relief pitchers, and you have seen him before. He was in what is that show? Law and Order, SVU. He was that comedian guy that made fun of girls getting raped. He was part of a comedy show. I'm sure you've seen almost every episode. I'm sure you've seen that one before.
He was in one episode?
He was in one episode. Well, I thought you would have remembered it. It was a pretty...
No, I probably wouldn't have watched it.
Oh, all right. And he was also in the Weekend at Bernie's movie, Weekend at Bernie's 1 and 2. He was also in The Odd Couple Part 2 as well. And he was also in a show called The Single Guy, which was, I think, right around the time you were born. So you probably... Yeah, that's another nope. Let's see. We have Billy Sullivan, who was in... He was also in a sitcom too. I forgot the name of it. He was also in the movie The Big Green. He is one of Billy Haywood's friends. He plays Chuck. You probably wouldn't have seen him in anything. And then we have Ashley Crow, who's been a co-star and stuff. She was in the movie Minority Report. She was also in an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger.
The original or the new?
There's a new one? They remade Walker, Texas, whatever it is? They remade that? They shouldn't have made the original. They remade that? Who takes Chuck Norris's part?
The guy that plays Sam in Supernatural, what's his name?
Oh, for God's sakes.
I always get the two. Is it Jared something? No, I get the two mixed up.
Oh, boy. They remade that?
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of remakes, I forgot to mention this. They did. I was going to say that they should have left Fletch alone. Not to get off topic, but they remade Fletch in 2022. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
You're like 3 movies behind here.
Yes, I am, but I had to throw it in there. So anyway, getting back to Little Big League, I'm trying to think who else co-starred in this. There was a lot of cameos. Jeff Garlin had a cameo in the scene that I'm about to show. They also used real Major League players in this movie. That is something different than what Dookie of the Year did. And I'm going to say this right off the bat: the acting is better than Dookie of the Year by far. No, I'm going to keep calling it what it is: Dookie of the Year. But Rafael. Oh, okay. So Rafael Palmeiro had a cameo in this. He played with the Texas Rangers. Ivan Rodriguez, he played with the Texas Rangers as well. Ken Griffey Jr. is in this. Randy Johnson is in this.
I don't know any of these people you are naming.
They are players. They are actual Major League players.
Yes, because I know anything about Major League Baseball.
Well, now is the time to learn.
Consider that called the MLB, the NBA.
Oh,
yes, I know so much about baseball.
Oh, don't insult the MLB.
I don't watch baseball either, so it's fine. You're lucky I watch football.
I'll go over some of the other ones, but Paul O'Neill and Tim Raines are also in this too. They were New York Yankee players. No, this is good stuff here. I mean, there was a big budget for this. Getting these guys probably was not cheap.
And yet they made no money on it, so therefore they should have big.
Well, somehow it's still probably making money because from what I heard that they do play this on the MLB Network.
They probably should have just caused that actor to play the baseball players. Just saying.
And then let me just try to think who else is in this that people would know. Wolfgang Bodizin is in this. He was in A Few Good Men. And the director who did this, this was the only movie that he directed. He did, however, produce A Few Good Men. And somebody really does not want me doing a baseball movie, even though it's the last one. And Jason Robards, I forgot, is kind of a very important character in this. He is the owner of the Twins.
I thought the kid was the owner of the Twins.
Shh. I'm getting to the story in just a second. Oh, and Kevin Dunn is the GM. And we know Kevin Dunn from the movie Dave. He was in Unstoppable. He was in... Nope, you saw him in Unstoppable. He was the jerk that was fighting with Denzel Washington and the one lady to stop the train.
Oh, the douchebag.
Yes.
They didn't have one in every movie, don't they?
Yeah, they really do.
Who's the one in this one?
That's a good question. I don't... Well, I guess you can say the manager at the very beginning of this would kind of be that guy.
Is that why the kid takes over as manager of the team?
So, okay, now I'm just going to say the story since it was so Jason Robards owns the team, and that is Thomas Haywood. So what happens is he passes away, and then he leaves on a VHS tape that he is leaving the team to his grandson Billy.
Who's like 10.
He's 12.
I said like.
So he takes over the team, and yes, him and George O'Farrell, the manager of the Twins, seem to clash. So, so a 12-year-old owner is fighting with this grown-up. So right there, I can't really figure out why people didn't see this. I mean, this is kind of funny now that I'm thinking of it. But I know one of the things is there was a baseball strike going on. So they played 113 games and then they just quit the season. It was done. So
They released the baseball movie at that time.
well, they already started filming it. They released it in June. I don't remember when they put a lock on the season, and then they canceled it in August. So that was a problem because the Montreal Expos were good at this time, and they ended up leaving. So it really was a mess, and people were really angry. So that could be one reason why people didn't want to see this, or they just thought it was another Rookie of the Year. So anyway, so moving on. So he does end up being the manager of the team as well. Now, this is also a smart baseball movie. There's baseball trivia in this. The kid knows a lot about baseball. He is, I have to steal it from Mickey and Judd, but he is a baseball. I'm just going to say he's a baseball know it all. I'm not going to take their encyclopedia. I'm not going to take their stuff. So he does obviously know a lot about the game. So his credentials are definitely there. And he wants the team to just have fun. They're kind of playing tight. They're just worried about business deals, endorsement deals. He kind of tells them to ignore that and just play the game. You're Major League Baseball players. You're doing this every day. You get to play baseball at Fenway Park and blah, 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 in Yankee Stadium. You should be having the time of your life. And the players do buy into this, and they end up playing better. So I will play the first clip of Billy Haywood playing his Little League game, and we will see how this goes. This is the beginning scene of this movie, and I think it starts off well. So I will show that clip in just a second here. I mean, I can see myself doing this with my horrible base running ability, but at least I admit it. But at least Billy Haywood here, at least he plays the sport and knows about it. So at least he's not a fake sports guy. And I do like how the umpire did go to Billy Haywood and asked him, what do I do in this situation? Because I know I can't have them both safe. So he explains it, and you wonder who that manager is who came running out. That was Jeff Garland, the big heavy guy in the one uniform there. When Billy's manager says that they're both safe, that is Jeff Garland who that came running in. So yes, it was the big heavy guy. That's Jeff Garland. So yes, he is in this movie for a short time. I wish he was in it longer. So anyway, so Billy explains it, and then so they only have obviously two people are out. So now I will go to the next scene where Dennis Farina is the manager of the Twins for the time being after somebody already said that he gets fired.
I'm not say that. I thought the kid
Yes. So we will find out. We will find out why they're talking. Before this scene here, Billy is mentioning the business side to baseball about signing people to multi-year deals. They did not. They haven't really done this in any other kids baseball movie that I have seen. So they do bring the business side of baseball into this movie. So let's see how George O'Farrell is, played by Dennis Farina. I will show that clip in just a second. George O'Farrell here, and he seems to have a little bit of an anger management problem. I think he should maybe get a deck of fantasy cards. It might help him relax. So he's throwing things around. He insults Max for being a little soggy or eating too many Krispy Kremes. And he really shouldn't insult Mac. I actually like his part in this. And I wish that George O'Farrell had a bigger role in this, but We know he gets his pink slip. And I wish he actually got one. What?
Look, you got yours?
Oh, of course. So now, what happens is here is Billy Haywood wants to see Roger Clemens play. So
Why did you get all weird?
I didn't get weird. I didn't. So anyway, so he is looking forward to seeing the cheating Roger Clemens. So I guess this is a big deal to Billy Haywood. I don't think he's actually with Boston too many more years after 1994. I think then he goes to Toronto. And obviously that's when he starts taking steroids. So, anyways, so I will show the clip of how Billy's grandpa talks Billy's mother, who is very strict about bedtimes and school time and what Billy watches on TV, which you will find out later on in this movie. So let's see how he does it. So I will show the clip in just a second.
So if you get the chance to see something really special, you don't pass it up.
Well, if you're gonna resort to wisdom, I guess they don't have much choice. Tell you what, Billy has a science project due Tuesday. If he gets it done, you can go. Don't bet on it. He's not exactly the world's most diligent student.
Well, this is a good way here to. Oh, let me make sure I got it hooked up so we're not doing Polish Pegasus. Oh, it's all hooked up. We're all good to go. It's not going to be a silent video. So, so Thomas Haywood here, the Billy's grandpa, says how he saw. He wanted to see Walter Johnson pitch and never got the chance to. So instead of ignoring this scene, I actually went into my baseball legends book and actually looked up Walter Johnson. I didn't do what other people did and just said, "Well, that's old stuff. I'm not going to bother looking him up." Of course, that's why fake sports guys should not watch this movie. So, so anyway, so he does end up talking her into it, but only if he gets his science project done. So what he does is he's smart, keeps his science project from the year before, and just writes a new name to the volcano. So instead of the other one, he puts Mount St. Helens, and he added some trees. Very, very smart. So he did about 5 minutes of work, if that. A brilliant move. He got it done. He gets to go to the game. What can go wrong? Well, let's see.
Billy. It's Grandpa.
Billy's grandpa is dead. So obviously a little bit of a sad turn of events here. It's too bad because I actually really liked his part. I enjoyed it. Unfortunately, it is an important part to the story because now we are going to find out in his. Oh, and I get to show the younger viewers at home what a VHS tape was because the um, old bat lawyer has the tape in her hand. Oh, come on, they're all bad. So I will show that clip in just a second.
Hi. Well, if you're watching this tape, I guess I'm dead. I'm sorry. I still had a pretty good run, though, huh? Anyway, the reason I made this tape is there was one bequest I wanted to tell you about myself. Billy, you're my best friend in the world.
These were the days where if you ran in the halls, the principal would take you into the office. Now, you can just run up and down the halls and they just let it happen. But back then, they did get you for it. So, Billy's probably wondering, why am I getting in trouble for what am I doing? It's like he said, he's barely walking. He pretty much was. So I guess the GM of the Twins called him at school. I honestly don't have a problem with these parts. I actually think these are interesting. And the principal asks him what's going on, and he says it's confidential. And he's absolutely right. If something does slip, uh, well, now there's a bit of a problem. Well, he didn't tell the principal, but he told his friends the details of the deal. So Ricky Henderson, I wouldn't be surprised after hearing things come out about him if he really did ask for these things. He wanted a albino Russian wolfhound, two of them, I think. Oh no, he just wanted one. The one kid said to give him two dogs. He wanted a Ferrari, a membership at Fair Oaks Country Club, and a 3-year deal. That's a. Oh yes, I forgot. A house and $18 million. Is that all? Is there anything else he wants for a aging Ricky Henderson? He did almost play up until he was 40, but that's not the point. He's obviously not the same player as he was. So now George O'Farrell has a problem with them bringing in this new free agent. So we will see what happens with Clash number 2. Well, he got his pink slip, and I kind of wish that he would have went to another team, but this was unfortunately the last scene that Dennis Farina was in this movie. So nuts. He made me laugh. Yes, he was a jerk, but I do like how he did get fired, and he took the toilet paper. He's probably giving that to Roger Ebert. So, so now Billy Henderson does resign with whatever team he was with at this time. I I have no idea. He was with so many. So so Billy decides to take over as manager, and the reason for that is he's having trouble getting managers to work for a kid. Yeah, I can see where that would be a problem since George O'Farrell seemed to have a problem with it as well, with long division analogies and third grade teacher or whatever, fifth grade, sixth grade teacher scenarios. So he names himself the manager of the Twins, and I would like to say his friends talk him into it. And I actually do like his two friends. I know that this in Rookie of the Year, there are comparisons. The two friends, the mom. I do like, even though there are similarities, there are enough differences that these are very different movies. I do like his friends even better in this than the two kids that were in Rookie of the Year. So he has his first press conference. So I will show that in just a second.
Press conference.
Oh, yes. So here is the press conference, and his commitment to Ninja Turtles has been complete. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant commitment to his Theodore Jeffrey Elementary School has been complete. Or was it junior high school? I forgot which one. Anyway, so his it's the end of the school year, so I guess he will be taking over as manager the night after the press conference. So he is starting very, very fast. And I'm sure the team loves the fact that they're going to be working for a 12-year-old.
That's what they already do.
Well, yes, but now he gets hands on with the rest of the team here. They should give him a warm welcome because these are just fun-loving guys in so many ways. Now, the good news is he's dealing with jocks. They're not the smartest people in the world, so he might be able to trick them. And just to show that I'm right, you will see this in the next clip. IT players are like this. Oh, that's right. So this is what. So anyways, so I did find these little lines here funny. This is Lonnie Ritter, one of the players here. Even though I don't really know anything about this actor, but all of them, they play their parts very, very well. You may not recognize them in anything else, but they were quite goofy in their own ways. And here he is saying that kids are amazing. He went down to Venezuela, and every one of them spoke in Spanish. And that's when Lou kind of chimes in and says, "Well, they all speak Spanish in Venezuela, so it's kind of that sports mentality there that most of them are kind of stupid." So, so that is kind of true. He pulls a Rob Gronkowski. So, I've actually found that part funny. And then Mike McGreevy, the one pitcher, comes in, and then he actually throws kind of a fit. So, and that's when Billy walks in and then does a team meeting. So let's see how his first game goes. I don't think his mom would embarrass him or anything. Well, let's find out what happens. Well, he ignored the hit and run on this, so I guess he's not off to a good start. But what happens is in the locker room after this little scene here, he actually sticks up for the player. So the player that ignored his signal now feels guilty. So this is quite a way to win the respect of your players. So the player ignores the signal, but the manager takes the blame for it, even though he called for the hit and run. So the manager took the blame for it, so he took the bullet, and now the player feels incredibly guilty. Yes, but I'm saying it again to make it clear. No, it may not have been. So so now the game number two. It does something this movie does really well is it really does do a good job of showing what Billy Haywood's duties as manager are. And like I said, that's why I said it twice. He took the heat for his player, and number two is he has to take players out of games if they're not pitching well. So this is an interesting scene because it's Blackout Gatlin that is a pretty big relief pitcher. He was the one that was criticized on his curveball by O'Farrell at the beginning of the movie. So let's see if he can take out this hot tempered player that doesn't really like fun. So let's see how this goes. Well, this is the water balloon part. This is one of my favorite parts of the movie just because they hit Mike McGreevy with the water balloon. And Mike McGreevy is kind of the buzzkill. He is the one who is not on board with Billy being the manager. So he is kind of grumpy, always talking about how he's not paid enough. And then when they get to New York, he is not even trying at all. And you might say, well, this is a smart move. Well, it really isn't. He's going to be a free agent and he's tanking on purpose. And then that's when Billy says, what is the going rate for a possible free agent who can't get anybody out? So that's how Mike McGreevy starts pitching well. But he does get hit with a water balloon before he's all happy and cheerful. So now the GM and Mac go into the hotel room during this disturbance, but what can they do? Yell at Billy? They can't really do that because Billy is their boss and he's 12. So it is kind of amusing. Yes, the grown ups give him a stern look, but what can they really do? They can give him a stern talking to that the hotel will not welcome them anymore, but at the end of the day, 12-year-old Billy's the boss. So later. Oh yes, and also Billy does decide to take advantage of room service by ordering some dirty movies. His mother will never find out, right? They don't send the bill to the mail or anything. Well, let's find out. Well, the no, this is a part that I wanted to show here because the schedule here for him is incredibly grueling. So he has stood up his friends quite a few times. And it's like I said at the beginning of this, I said, remember, his friends talked him into this. It was their idea. So this is part of the problem. They said, you're a manager. They have the DH. How hard could it be? Well, he's running a baseball team and he's managing. So he has to do paperwork, he has to do payroll, and he has to manage a team. So he has practice and games and extra stuff, which is having lunch with Reggie Jackson. So, and also his mother got the bill from Arthur the Snitch. He sent the bill to his mother, and she saw how many times he watched that movie. Many, many, many times. And if you do turn the movie off in a hotel, you have to pay for it. I don't know this from experience, but one of my friends that I went on a Buffalo Bills trip with learned that lesson. So, yes, and my friend's mother got the bill, so she pretty much laughed at him.
And he redid it a second time.
He did, yeah, because he turned the TV off, so we had to reorder it. So, yes, my friend's mom made fun of him a few times for that on the way back. So, anyways, I'm only going to show a couple more clips, but this
Couple?
two.
Like two, right? Okay.
So one of them is he has to do something very hard, which is cut a player. So I will show that clip in just a second.
Listen, Jerry, we've decided to, well, you know, we've got to,
You've got to what? This.
Well, that was a close one. We almost had a Polish Pegasus. No sound. Just a little technical difficulty with the microphone, but it's okay. So this is a tough part of the job. I don't care who you are, kid, adult, grandma. Cutting a player is never easy, especially when one is helping him in Little League. He's trying to teach him how to hit, and he pretty much says, "You're gone." So this cannot be easy, and it does put the Twins into a downward spiral. He Billy kind of turns into this kind of dictator type of manager. His mood does turn, and he ends up benching Luke Collins through this whole stretch, which is the best player on the team. He's the player that is dating his mother.
Is that why I benched him?
Well, he benched him because he's angry about having to cut a player, and it kind of took a little bit of a toll on him. He's ditching his friends. He's doing all this work for a 12-year-old, so the stress is starting to get to him. And so I'm only going to show one more clip, and it is the final game of the season. It is the wild card game against the Seattle Mariners. I know people are probably asking. The younger generation is probably saying, "Why would they play Seattle?" Seattle was the cool upcoming team at this time. So I will show that clip in just a second. And yes, Ken Griffey Jr. was one of the star players back then, and he is in this movie. So I get to show this clip, and I will show that in just a second. This is the final clip I'm going to show. I did like this little trick play here. They did this. They did something similar in Rookie of the Year. They did the hidden ball trick. This I thought was more creative. I know it's a similar idea, but they did really get creative with this. They got the security guard involved, and they got all the players on the same page, and they were using actual baseball signals. I thought whoever did do this had a very good baseball IQ. That signal there, practicing that every single day, that would take a little bit of time. So I did find this scene funny because they got Ken Griffey Jr. out, who, like I said, was a big player at the time. And Randy Johnson does make an appearance in this movie as well. He was the pitcher for Seattle, and Lou Piniella, the manager, is also there. And what I also found out was the play-by-play announcer is the real play-by-play announcer for the Twins himself. So Johnny Miller did not get the job because he did audition to be the announcer for this movie, but did very, very poorly. So my dad would love to hear that. He did not like Johnny Miller. So this is pretty much the end of this review. And Siskel and Ebert did review it, but I could not find it on YouTube. So we don't get to hear what they had to say about this movie. But I do know that they did like this because it said it right on the VHS box. And because what they said was they liked the unpredictable baseball play in this movie, which was I hate to admit it, they were spot on. There was a lot of things in this movie I just was not expecting. The baseball action scenes were terrific. The cast in this movie, even though I never heard of most of these guys, actually did really, really well. And the guy that did direct this movie, this was the only movie he directed. He did not direct anything else. So there is that. And so the cast was well. The acting was very well done. The baseball action scenes were terrific. I didn't mind that this was a long movie. I know this was 2 hours long. The people I watched today, Mickey and Judd, were complaining about the longness of the length of this movie. I didn't have a problem with that because if I enjoyed it, I felt like I got my money's worth out of seeing a 2-hour baseball movie. And I did like the scenes with school and the math problems. There was some really funny stuff in this. So if I had to grade this movie, I would give this a very strong B plus. Even though this bombed at the box office, I don't care. This is a movie that you should end up, and this is what people's biggest problem is. This is what my brother's issue is. These movies, these baseball movies, you have to pay to watch them. That's an issue. I recommend just going on a website and buying the stupid thing. It's worth the money. It's not expensive. It's $5. Buy it. If you really don't have a player, then pay to actually stream it. It's worth it. Trust me. This is a movie I highly recommend watching. You can watch it as a family. It's a PG rated movie. It's a family movie and it's actually good. Adults would like this as well because like I said, the baseball IQ is there. There's even baseball trivia questions in this movie. This is a terrific movie to watch. You can have your popcorn and whatever poison beverage you want to have. So I highly recommend it. So comment if you want. If you have any suggestions on movies, please let me know. Oh yes, subscribe if you want, and thank you for watching.